Let's have a closer look at the new 911 GT3 R. GT3 cars are customer race cars that are run and driven by customer teams and drivers. So for the new generation, Porsche concentrated on improving drivability and serviceability. While other manufacturers are switching to turbo engines for their GT3 cars, Porsche kept a naturally aspirated engine but increased the capacity to now 4.2 liter. That should be enough for 565 horsepower, but of course that depends on BOP. The advantage of naturally aspirated engines is the linear power curve, which is easier to control, especially for amateur drivers. If a wide range of drivers can handle the car, teams can offer the seats to more drivers and potentially earn more money. That, on the other hand, makes the race car more popular and more teams are interested. Another advantage of non-turbocharged engines is that the engine is simpler, smaller because of less piping and less radiators, and hence easier to service, also for mechanics that are not especially trained for this vehicle. And for engineers, the drivetrain is easier to set up. For turbo engines, the boost pressure is regulated. If you are well below the limit, you drive around with less power than what you are allowed to. If you exceed the limit, you will be disqualified. So the fine-tuning of such a system is usually done by factory support engineers, and you don't always have them at every race and test worldwide. So for a team, a naturally aspirated engine is easier to handle. Downside is, of course, less torque, so under BOP conditions you might have a disadvantage. So let's go to the general concept. A 911 is always a special concept because of its engine behind the rear axle, small wheelbase, hence long overhangs, and fuel tank in front. Because of the low-hanging boxer engine, 911s cannot have a large diffuser, so their underbody produces less downforce than the competition. To compensate for that, they have a large rear wing. But a rear wing has a lower aerodynamic efficiency. In other words, 911 GT3s traditionally produce less downforce per drag, but that's fixed by BOP. To improve the situation a bit, Porsche started angling the drivetrain, so the diffuser can be bigger and the rear wing smaller. Another more radical step was to turn the whole drivetrain around and make it a mid-engined 911 at the RSR. You can see the significant changes that brought to diffuser and rear wing. For the new 992 GT3 R, Porsche kept the traditional rear engine layout, and you can clearly see that because it has the largest rear wing of all GT3 cars. A 911 also traditionally has a very rear-biased rate distribution, which results in a rear-biased aero balance. In combination with the short wheelbase, that results in pretty high rear tire wear. And that was one of the main development points for the new generation. More points on the list were optimizing the weight distribution, lowering the center of gravity, bringing it further forward, and concentrate the mass closer to the middle. So Porsche moved the driver's seat closer to the car's center line. With so much downforce at the rear, Porsche balanced it at the front with the splitter with side fences and two canards either side, to create vortices that help with wheel arch extraction. That in return helps front diffuser performance. And also the front hood is an evolution of the old hood. The 911 has the fuel tank in the middle. Old GT3 models had the fuel flap in the center, but it's not easy to reach from any side. So now teams can choose if they want to have the flap on one side or the other. And the fuel flap sits in the massive radiator outlet that is surrounded by a gurney flap to increase front downforce and cooling performance. The intake at the side is for driver cooling, and Porsche now puts it on the passenger side because the driver's pedal box is in the way on the other side. It used to be a Naker duct and now became a more rectangular shape. The center of the bumper has a massive cooling inlet in the middle and additional cooling ducts at the side. A surprise here are the standard side mirrors and the missing front louvers. When everybody else is getting more and more extreme with front wheel arch extraction to get more front downforce, Porsche now eliminated them. Or maybe there will be an update later on. The arrow-shaped side mirror stays of the previous model helped to guide air to the rear inlets and kept the tire wake down. But these designs often shake and drivers cannot see a thing in them. So maybe that's the reason we can see normal mirrors here again, while competitors do exactly the opposite. And like the Ferrari, also Porsche concentrated on improving serviceability. They chose quick release systems and structured the car in a way to enable faster repair jobs. So all in all, we see a new 911 GT3 R generation that is optimized in almost every little area and makes the car even more attractive for customers. The fact that it's another generation of a naturally aspirated GT3 car might convince many teams and fans. How do you like the new GT3 R? Let me know in the comments below.